Odysseus just wanted to go home. That was it. The Trojan War was over. His wife was waiting. His kingdom was waiting. And Ithaca was supposed to be a relatively straightforward boat ride away. Instead, it took him 10 years. He got cursed by Poseidon, nearly eaten by a Cyclops, spent a year living with a witch, got tied to the mast of his own ship, and somehow returned home with exactly 0 of the men he left Troy with. And the worst part? A surprising amount of this could have been avoided. So here are 5 times Odysseus made his journey home significantly worse. Number 5. He robbed the Cyclops and then waited around Odysseus, and his men landed on an island and discovered a cave. Inside were sheep, cheese, and enough supplies to make leaving immediately the obvious decision. His men basically said, "Let's take the food and go." Reasonable. Odysseus said no. He wanted to meet whoever lived there. Because apparently after 10 years of war, what this man desperately needed was networking. Unfortunately, the cave belonged to Polyphemus, a giant Cyclops, who came home, blocked the entrance with a massive rock, and started eating Odysseus's men. Excellent meeting. Odysseus eventually came up with a genuinely brilliant escape. He got Polyphemus drunk, told him his name was Nobody, blinded him, then escaped by hiding underneath the Cyclops' sheep. Honestly, perfect. One of the smartest escapes in mythology. And then Odysseus ruined it. Number 4. He told the Cyclops his real name. They're back on the ship. They're escaping. Polyphemus can't see them. Nobody knows who Odysseus is. The plan worked. So naturally, Odysseus starts shouting back at the Cyclops, because apparently escaping wasn't enough. He needed credit, and eventually he announces his real name. Odysseus, king of Ithaca. Just in case the giant he blinded wanted his billing address too. There was one tiny problem. Polyphemus was the son of Poseidon, god of the sea. You know, the place Odysseus was currently using to get home. Polyphemus prayed to his father and asked Poseidon to make Odysseus's journey miserable. Poseidon agreed, and suddenly the trip home became a 10-year nightmare, all because Odysseus couldn't resist signing his work. Number 3. He opened the bag of winds. By falling asleep, eventually Odysseus met Helios, keeper of the winds, and for once things actually went well. Helios gave Odysseus a magical bag containing every dangerous wind. The only wind left outside would blow them directly toward Ithaca. And it worked. They sailed so close to home that Odysseus could literally see Ithaca. After years of disasters, he had made it. So what happened? Odysseus fell asleep. His crew noticed the mysterious bag he'd been guarding and decided, "That's probably treasure," and opened it. Every trapped wind exploded out at once. The ship was blasted all the way back to Helios. Imagine being able to see your house, going to sleep, and waking up hundreds of kilometers away because your friends opened your luggage. Even Helios basically looked at them and said, "No, something is clearly wrong with you people," and refused to help again. Number 2. He decided he needed to hear the Sirens. Odysseus was warned about the Sirens, beautiful creatures whose song was so irresistible that sailors would steer directly toward them and die. Circe even gave him instructions. Block your crew's ears with wax, sail past. Very simple. Odysseus agreed, except for one small detail. He wanted to hear the song. Of course he did. This man had survived monsters, cannibals, gods, witches, and storms, and apparently still suffered from catastrophic FOMO. So he ordered his crew to tie him to the mast, not loosely, properly, and told them that no matter how much he begged, they were not allowed to untie him. Then they sailed past. The Sirens started singing, and immediately Odysseus completely lost his mind. He screamed, begged, demanded to be released, while his crew silently kept rowing because thankfully none of them could hear him. For once, Odysseus correctly predicted that future Odysseus was going to make a terrible decision, and physically restrained himself in advance. That's growth. Technically. Number 1. He lost his entire crew over some cows. Near the end of the journey, Odysseus and his remaining men reached the island of Helios. Before arriving, they received one extremely specific warning: do not eat Helios's cattle. That's it. There were no riddles, no hidden conditions, just do not eat the cows. Odysseus knew this. He warned his men. Then bad weather trapped them on the island. Their food ran out, and while Odysseus was away praying, His crew killed the cattle. To be fair, this one wasn't actually his idea. But at this point, Odysseus had assembled possibly the least coachable team in Greek mythology. Helios was furious. Zeus responded by destroying their ship with a thunderbolt. Every member of the crew died, except Odysseus, the man who left. Troy with an entire fleet was now floating through the Mediterranean alone. All because after surviving Cyclops, cannibals, witches, monsters, and angry gods, his crew couldn't leave some cows alone. So yes, Odysseus was brilliant. He was clever, resourceful, one of the greatest heroes in Greek mythology. But his journey home was also 10 years of excellent plan, terrible decision, divine punishment. Repeat. He defeated Troy with a wooden horse, then spent the next decade proving that intelligence and common sense are apparently two completely different skills. And somehow, after monsters, shipwrecks, angry gods, magical islands, and the worst road trip in human history, Odysseus finally made it home, 10 years late, alone, and probably never wanted to see another boat again.